So you're thinking about moving to Laval, Quebec, which is the city just north of Montreal. Well, in this video, you'll learn about the pros and cons of living in Laval. This video will be pertinent for those of you living in Quebec but in another city. It will also be useful if you live in another Canadian province and you're thinking about moving to Quebec in the Montreal area. And if you're looking at the suburbs, Laval being one of the biggest suburbs north of Montreal. And lastly, you might be living outside of Canada, Europe, Africa, Asia, and you're just wondering, what's it like to live in Canada, enjoying life in Canada? And you might be thinking ahead, well, in a couple of years from now, I might be moving to Quebec. And if I move to Quebec, I might choose Montreal or Laval, which is again, the suburb right north of Montreal. Now let's get to it. If this is your first time to my channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Laval and the surrounding suburbs, you can like this video, you can subscribe, and consider tapping the bell notification so that you can be notified as soon as I hit my channel with another video about the real estate current market. My name is Gabriel Laflamme. I've been a realtor since 2009, and my team and I, we get calls, emails, text message every single day from people just like you that are looking to make a move and transition to buy a house in Laval or the surrounding areas. If this is your case and you're planning to move to Laval, whether it's in a month, 6 months, a year from now, you can shoot us an email, call us, and we'll guide you through the buying or selling process if you ever need to sell, and we'll make sure that your transition is as smooth as possible. Let's start with the 5 cons of living in Laval. Number 1, Laval is kind of a boring city, especially if you compare it to Montreal, where you have all sorts of festival, outdoor activities, you have conferences, you have bar, restaurants, everything that it's exciting takes place in Montreal. We have all of the above in Laval, but on a much smaller scale. Number 2, we have a lack of gastronomy, of fine dining restaurants. Aside from a few places in old Sainte-Rose, which is the area just a few minutes away from here, because I live in Sainte-Rose, Laval, Les Menus Plaisirs, for instance, Black Forest, aside from those two and a few others, all the best restaurants, all the exquisite upscale dining is in Montreal. So whenever you go for a lunch with a friend or family member for breakfast, you'll stay in Laval. But if there's something special, a party, an event, New Year's, you will always go straight to Montreal, downtown area, to celebrate. So you have fun in Laval, but you celebrate in Montreal. Number 3, reduction of all the green spaces. A few decades ago, Laval was considered the countryside for Montrealers. People used to come to Laval to relax close to the water. There were beaches, forest, place to go for hikes. But nowadays, things have changed. When you drive in Laval, you see construction everywhere. Highways being built, high school, elementary school, businesses, industries. It's really growing. It's growing in terms of the construction, but it's also growing in terms of everything that pertains to the economic development of its businesses. So in other words, we see much more asphalt, concrete, than we see trees, mountains, and lakes. So that explains why a lot of the owners that sell their place in Laval at some point will say, you know what, Gabriel, I've been living in Laval for a couple of years now. I just want to go in nature and see more nature. So they head straight up to the Laurentians. So they sell in Laval and they move up north. Number 4, a higher car dependency than in Montreal. If you live in Montreal, especially if you live close to a subway station, you could easily have a happy life without owning a car. You could go to work, you could go to bars, restaurants, you could go see shows. You could have a perfect life without owning a car. But this is almost impossible in Laval. We have our public transportation, bus, and we also have 3 subway stations. But Laval is a huge island. And if you don't own a car, or if you don't share a car with a friend or family member, you'll have a hard time commuting. So keep that in mind. But on the other hand, It's really easy to drive in Laval and find parking. That's the beauty of Laval. But when you cross the bridge and you go to Montreal, it's a nightmare. Just driving across the city takes forever. There's construction everywhere. And if you're trying to park on a Saturday night, on a Friday night, forget it. So that explains why when I have to celebrate and go someplace in Montreal, downtown Montreal, I commute using Uber taxi driver, because otherwise it's really difficult to park. So that's the plus of living, driving, parking in Laval as opposed to Montreal. Number 5, a lack of charm, of cachet in Laval. Laval is a city that is known for being perfect for families, you know, but it's not known for being a beauty, for being charming. You know, if aside from a few places like the old Sainte-Rose, which is really charming, really unique and has character, but aside from those small areas, when you look at Laval, you often find that the houses, you look at the houses on each side of the street on specific neighborhoods, the house look pretty much the same. So you don't buy in Laval because you want something really unique and charming like you would buy in San Francisco, for instance. That's the first place that comes to my mind. Or in some other places in Quebec. You buy it because it's close to Montreal, close to the good school, close to the downtown area. But you don't buy a house to be like impressed by the beauty of its neighborhoods. Now let's look at the 5 pros of living in Laval, Quebec. Laval's strategic position, location, location, location. Laval is the island just north of Montreal, which means that if you have to go to Montreal for work, or if you study in Montreal, well, you could easily go to Montreal, even if it's the downtown area. If you drive to the downtown area, it's going to take you between 30 to 60 minutes, depending on traffic. And if you commute by using the metro subway system and the bus to go downtown Montreal, it would still take you about 60 to 75 minutes, which is not so bad. So our strategic positioning is really great for people that work in Montreal, for people that study in Montreal, but also for people that like to go to the Laurentians, because we're really close to the Laurentians. You take the Highway 15 and you go to the mountains and go for a hike, go skiing, or anything that pleases you that's outdoors. And on the island of Laval, we have great highways to commute from east to the west or west to the east, Highway 440, and we have the Highway 15, north-south Highway 15, that gets you to the Laurentian, which is really efficient. And so in other words, we have a perfect location. You want to go to the airport, it's 25 minutes. You want to go ski in Saint-Sauveur, which is a mountain not so far away from Laval. It's about 35 to 40 minutes. You want to go to the famous Mont Tremblant. It's about an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. And even if you want to go to the South Shore of Montreal, there's a new bridge on the eastern side of Laval that will get you there like in 20 minutes. So our positioning is really strategic. Number 2, our parks and our green spaces. Even though we have less and less green spaces, we have a lot of famous spots in Laval. Let's start off with one of our most famous park, our very own Central Park, if you will, which is called le Centre de la Nature. It's in the center-east part of Laval in Saint-Vincent-de-Paul area. It's a huge park where you can have fun with your family the whole year. Whether you go there in the wintertime, you can tube slide, you can go for ice skating, you can go for just a walk with your friends and family and enjoy the beautiful winter day. Or during the summertime, you have an artificial lake where you can go for kayaking. You can play team sports, perfect place for a picnic. You have music shows. It's really the perfect place for family. And you even have a farm where your kids will be able to pet some really cute animals. So that's one of the parks that's really famous. And some people from Montreal, they drive from Montreal to go to Laval just to, enjoy a beautiful day in this Centre de la Nature park. My personal favorite now, Le Bois de l'Équerre, which is a sort of a urban forest in the heart of the city of Laval. It's in Sainte-Rose, in the area where I live. It's just like 3 minutes drive from here. And you can go there and have a walk for about an hour and 15 minutes. And you really feel like in the heart of the Laurentian, but you're staying in Laval. So that's the beauty of it. For instance, on the weekends when I try to relax and I try to unplug from real estate, I'll go there with my friends, my girlfriend, my mom. We'll go for a walk with her dog, and it's just peaceful. It's really, really peaceful. Le Bois de l'Équerre. The third famous spot on my list, le Parc de la Rivière des Mille-Îles. That's a really famous area in the oldest part of Sainte-Rose, Sainte-Rose being one of the sectors in Laval. It's really close to the water. You cross the bridge and you get to Rosemere, and it's protected wildlife area, and it's one of the most famous protected area in the greater Montreal metropolitan area. And you can go there to bike, to run, have a picnic, just look at the sunset during those warm summer nights. It's really a family-oriented place, and it's close to the old St. Rose where you have shops, coffee shops, bagel spots, just a bunch of really fun and tasty restaurants. You can go for a walk and then you stop at those restaurants. So it's really, really nice. Le Parc de la Rivière des Mille-Îles. Go check this one out. Number 3, our downtown is getting more and more exciting. 20 years ago, there was no downtown in Laval, and it's still really tiny, tiny, tiny compared to Montreal downtown area, but it's still getting better. We have this area called Centropolis where you have bars, restaurants, you have a movie theater, and it's an area where you can really have a great time. During the summertime, there's a bunch of terraces where you can have those happy hour drinks. It's really, really great place to go and hang out. And right next to it, there's the most famous shopping mall, which is called the Carrefour Laval. In Quebec, everybody knows about the Carrefour Laval, so if you're into shopping, that's a great place to go. We also have La Place Belle, which is where the Rocket hockey team plays, and there's also all year long bunch of different shows from different artists from all across the globe. So when you go into downtown area, you can pretty much do everything that's fun. Again, it's nothing compared to downtown Montreal, but still, it's getting better. Number 4, our quality education. In Laval, we have French and English schools. Our most famous high school in the public system, which is free, which is great, is Laval International School, L'École Internationale. This school is in high demand. There's a waiting list to get there, but it's a really, really great school. You learn French, English, and Spanish. Aside from that, you have French private school, Collège Laval, if you're into sports. Collège Le Temps, which is right next to le Cégep Montmorency, the pre-university school in the downtown area. For English-speaking students that want to go to a private high school, you have the North Star Academy. In Laval, we have one single Cégep, which is Cégep Montmorency, which is a French Cégep. If your kids want to go to an English Cégep, there's plenty of Cégep in Montreal, and you can easily access them using the transportation system. I went to Dawson College, which is a Cégep in Montreal. It was taking me about an hour and 15 minutes, commuting bus and metro. And pertaining to the university now, there's one single university in Laval. It's University of Montreal. They have a campus in Laval, a small campus in Laval, so you can go to plenty of programs, but it's in French. I went to Concordia University, which is an English university, and again, I was commuting to the downtown area, an hour and 15 minutes I was there. So if your kids don't want to go to a university in Montreal, they can easily access the public transportation to go to Concordia and McGill, for instance, which are two great universities in Montreal. Number 5, Laval's great and steady economic growth. Laval has had a great stretch of years of economic growth and demographic growth. People are moving to Laval because there are plenty of jobs. The unemployment rate is really low. It's really a great place to work. You see headquarters coming to Laval. And when you look around, you see condo buildings being built. You see new industries building industrial buildings, commercial buildings everywhere. Everywhere you look, you see that it's booming. So if it's booming on the real estate side, it's also booming on the jobs creation side, which is great because you could live in Laval And if you look around, you could easily find a job without having to commute to Montreal. And in Laval, we have close to 450,000 people. So there's, if you're opening your own business in Laval, you have plenty of potential candidates that could work for your business, such as mine. I have a business, real estate agent business, and I have a big team, and a lot of my team members live in Laval. So that's good for potential owners, business owners. And we also have great industrial zones in Laval. One of the main ones is in the center part of Laval. And it's a big hub for everything pertaining to science and biotechnology. There's maybe 5,000 or 6,000 jobs that are created in this community of scientists, and it's in the center of Laval. You have pharmaceutical companies from all over the world. The big, well-known companies have offices in Laval. So it's great. You know, you go to McGill, for instance, you study science, then you could work in Laval in the science industry. You could find a great job and be surrounded by other scientists. So that's really great for the future of Laval. And when you look at the headquarters, you have Les Rôtisseries Saint-Hubert, which is a chicken chain restaurant in Quebec that's really famous. They have their head office in Laval. Couche-Tard, it's a convenience international chain, and they have their head office in Laval. So again, Laval is booming, so there's lots of great opportunities in Laval. All right, this is it. I hope you enjoyed today's video about the pros and cons of Laval. Again, if you're thinking about moving to Laval or their surrounding areas, or if you have a plan to sell your home in Laval and move to some other places, maybe you're thinking about moving to the Laurentians or the South Shore of Montreal, my team and I were there to help. You can shoot us an email, call us, whether you have a project in a week from now, a month or a year, we're there to help. So in the meantime, take great care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next video.